Hi, in this video we are going to look at the function Vlookup. As an accountant, this can be one of your best friends. I know when I was working as an accountant, this was my function that was my go-to and I used the most. So what Vlookup is a vertical lookup. So what we're looking for is information that is stored in a table vertically. So for example, here we have a list of random test scores, pretty much made up. And what we want to do is find the score to return a grade and GPA. So here we have a lookup table on another worksheet. We have the scores, we have the letter grade, and we have the GPA for each of the corresponding scores. So what we would do is we want to look up a 93, and we would find that has a GPA of 4 and a grade of A. So just a little bit about how the function works. So here's what we need to look up. We put in our lookup value. So in our previous example, that would be the 93. The table array, that would be the score table where we saw all the values and the letter grade and the GPA. The column index. So if we have that table, what column do we want to return? And then we would want to put, which is optional, a true or false. A true if we will have an approximate match, and a false for an exact match. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to Excel. All right, so if we go here to our exam scores, and if we see this, I'm going to enlarge it just a little bit. We have a column for grade and one for GPA. So we're going to just start by typing in Vlookup. And the first thing it's asking us for is the lookup value. So we're going to click on this 93. And then we want to go and it's asking for the table array. I have this table array on the new worksheet grade table. I'm going to highlight that. Right after this, I highlight it, I am going to press the function key F4. And the reason I'm doing that is if you notice, it puts in the dollar signs here for me. And that is holding it absolute. So as we copy that function down, it will stay the same. The next thing where it's asking for is the column index. So we highlighted this table from A1 to C12. So this is column 1, column 2, column 3. We are going to enter column 2 because in this case we want to enter the letter grade. Now the function would work now because the last part is optional and the default is a true. A true means that we will return an approximate value. If we had it false, it would be an exact. So for example, if we had a score of 91 and we left it blank or put in true, it would return the value of A minus. And we accidentally jumped back there. So an A minus because that is the closest without going over. If we put in an exact or a false, it would return an error because 91 is not found in this column. All right, let's look here, and it appropriately returned a grade. Now, a simple trick to most of you probably copy this down by dragging, and that works, but we have quite a few scores here. Look, we have about 100. So rather than doing that, I am going to just hold my cursor here in the lower right-hand corner, and I'm going to double click. And notice it turns all of them, moves all of them down. And it looks like we went without errors. Let's just double check another one. Let's go with a 79. So if I go over to the grade table, and 79, 77 is the closest, and so it should return a C+. All right, so that is the very basics of a VLOOKUP, but let's try one more very quickly. So I'm going to go VLOOKUP. And if you just start by typing equals VL and hit tab, it will automatically come up. Just a little shortcut to speed things up. And we're going to put in our same score. Once again, we are going to our grade table, and I am going to press F4 because I don't like typing in all those dollar signs. And we're going to return column 3 this time. We want our GPA. And we can end there, or I can put in a true to denote an approximate match. And press enter. And once again, do the same thing by double clicking. All right, that gives us a bit of a review of how to do a VLOOKUP. You will have other videos that will give you some more details on other VLOOKUP options, but this is the basics to get you started.